understand.
The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Party won't go all night. Get to that bell tower.
NANI?!
Wait long.
We decided that on the floor we're showing DirectX 9 actually, running on XP, because our fans are always worried, you know, do I have to buy a completely new computer to play Crysis? And the message we want to give people is no, it looks gorgeous on DirectX 9, it runs on XP, you don't have to upgrade to play Crysis.
Why did you not optimize this game for PC?
Say something clever.
We did. It's running great. It is a next-gen PC game. We really do push the technology, so you may need to upgrade your PC for this game.
few moments later.
I'm out. I'm out.
Game to be the ultimate Batman experience. For us, that means building an enormous open-world Gotham City full of the really rich level of detail that people have come to expect from Arkham games.
The inner reflection, there's reflection off of Phasma. There's inner reflection of Phasma on her gun. And there's reflection of her gun on her chest.
Name was that?
Is somebody there?
the great things that's happened is the Xbox is forcing us to look at a bunch of things that maybe we didn't have to look as hard at on the PC, because there are more constraints there, especially with the CPU and memory. So the end result is that the Source engine is getting better. It's using less CPU, using less memory, being more aggressive about streaming.
I just want to be able to import my ZBrush model, my photogrammetry scan, my CAD data, without wasting any time optimizing.
Without wasting any time optimizing.
We really do push the technology.
Rico Delgado has been eliminated.
One of the most important new features is 4-player co-op. In Halo 2, you could only play 2 players and they had to be on the same Xbox, but for Halo 3, you'll be able to play 4-player co-op over Xbox Live, so you can play with your friends across the country or sitting next to you on the couch.
But during one of your recent streams, you announced that couch co-op would not be coming to Halo Infinite. And as the community discovered, you can glitch into the mode, and Digital Foundry thought this worked well. So is this something that you'd ever consider reevaluating at any time?
So right now, we are committed to supporting the live service.
Great.
Find the emergency release. You can do it.
Don't be fooled by foreign propaganda. Get the latest, trusted scoop on Night City, only on N54 News.
With PlayStation 3, we are taking it to the next level. Not only will PlayStation 3 support Blu-ray video and PlayStation 3 games, PlayStation games, PlayStation 2 games, audio CDs, and DVD video playback.
PlayStation 5 is backwards compatible with more than 4,000 PlayStation 4 games.
Hello? Anybody home?
If you're a PlayStation Now subscriber, you will see PS Now games here too. Download or stream any of the PS4 titles or stream any of the PS3 and PS2 titles on demand.
I'm glad to have met you.
Please, someone do something! I'm getting out of here.
My money's
What the hell are you doing? Security to the bridge. The Master Chief has gone rampant. Take him down, boys.
Not over here. I see him. Watch it. Get clear.
Just south of your location.
We'll get it done.
I just move shit with my freaking mind!
Yeah, okay.
Right in, sir. Enjoy your evening.
Oh.
Ils ont déjà vécu trop longtemps!
Nous ferons justice.
Écoutez-nous!
Your game might run smoothly, have decent art and include a full set of features. But if it feels off, even slightly, players will close it in minutes. No rage, no bugs, just pure boredom. So let's fix that. We're going to break down the most common field-related mistakes game developers make and, more importantly, how you can fix them. This isn't about surface-level advice, it's about creating a game that feels intuitive, satisfying and alive from the first second. Players expect responsiveness, clarity and flow, whether your game is a 2D platformer or a 3D open world. You don't need massive teams or fancy shaders, you just need to make intentional decisions about how your game reacts to input, communicates with the player and respects their time. If you can get that right, even a simple prototype can feel amazing. The most common reason players drop a game without realizing why is because the movement doesn't feel right. Even if the controls are technically working, if the feedback is vague and the handling is stiff, it creates a subtle friction that ruins immersion from before the game even starts. Take JDM, Japanese Drift Master, as an example. The game is visually stunning, the roads look atmospheric and the environments are polished. The whole presentation promises a smooth, stylish drifting experience, but the moment you actually get behind else a game does well. If that's your issue, the best thing you can do is stop building more features on top and strip the whole experience down to the basics. Test your movement or driving system in a simple scene. No UI, no visuals, just input and motion. You should tweak responsiveness, add steering assist curves, test acceleration and deceleration, timing. Most importantly, make sure every control feels deliberate and grounded. And here a little design tip. A great movement system should be fun to play in a blank space. If the player enjoys moving even without a goal, you're on the right track. And a well-designed action with no punch also feels very lifeless, and that's point 2. That means if your game has attacks, jumps, unlocks or any kind of progression, it needs clear feedback. I remember playing a card-based game recently, Balatro, and I was surprised about how much weight every click had. When you play a strong hand, you don't just see numbers going up. The screen flashes and you basically hit a jackpot, and that's what clear feedback looks like. Clear, immediate and emotional. If that's your issue, layer in audio and visual cues that celebrate success. Add screen shade, short hit pauses, UI flashes or sound layers that respond to scale and power. Feedback turns your gameplay logic into emotion. Without it, your game will not feel good. Without it, even good mechanics will fall flat. What I also see a lot is that many indie games include crafting, inventory, upgrades and dialogue because those features are common, not because the game needs them. When the features don't reinforce the core player experience, the result will always be the same: confusion and disengagement. And if that's your issue, you should step a bit back and define your game's central action. Is it solving, shooting, drifting? And once you identified that, trim or rework any system that doesn't strengthen it. Games like Into the Breach work so well because every element pushes you towards a smart goal. Smart, tactical decision making. And if your pacing never changes, your game will also feel exhausting or dull. Even fast-paced games need quiet movements. Even chill games need spikes of intensity. And pacing is all about contrast, not speed. Without variation, players can't feel momentum. In an earlier version of Trishu Drift, I had races one after the other, no downtime, just non-stop action. It got really repetitive really fast, and once I added some ambient movements between races, brief quiet scenes with drifting practice zones or simple nighttime scenery, the tension of the races felt sharper and more meaningful. And if you're having that problem, map out your intensity over time. Introduce calm before pressure and reward pressure with release. Pacing is what gives your games rhythm, and rhythm is what keeps players immersed. If your inputs feel delayed or inconsistent, players will also stop trusting the game. When a player presses a button, they make a small promise to themselves. If your game breaks that promise too often by delaying the input or ignoring it or behaving inconsistently, they'll check out fast. Games like Hades are a masterclass here. Every action feels instant and precise. There's never a moment where you wonder if your character will respond or not. You will know. If that's your issue, measure your input latency, animation response time, and cut down transition frames. Allow inputs to cancel early and make sure the game always reacts clearly. If necessary, cheat responsiveness a bit. Players will forgive a short animation. They won't forgive a missed button press. Progression needs to feel like improvement. That means visual escalation, audio evolution, and mechanical power, not just increasing numbers on a screen. Games like Vampire Survivors make you feel unstoppable by ramping up the chaos in sync with your upgrades. Every minute you will become visibly stronger, the screen gets louder, fuller, more chaotic, and that is what makes players want to keep going. And if that's your issue, rethink how you present upgrades. Even if the numbers are small, make the player feel it. Add new effects, upgrades, sounds, or even cosmetic changes as the power increases. Let them see and hear their growth and not just read about it. If players don't understand what is happening, they will also disconnect really fast. Even deep or difficult games need to teach their new systems in clear and in an intuitive way. If players get confused early on, they rarely blame themselves. They'll assume your game is just bad. Games like Slay the Spire succeed because they introduce new mechanics gradually and let the players explore them safely. There's no big tutorial pop-up, just smart, layered onboarding. And if that's your issue, test your games with new players and say nothing. Watch where they get stuck, where they hesitate, and where they miss something obvious. And then go fix those moments, with no text but with better design. But with all of that implemented now, if nothing matters, players will still stop caring, no matter how well it works. Well, now you have great mechanics, solid controls and clear progression, but there is no emotional payoff. Players will walk away. That doesn't mean you need a big story, but you need purpose. Whether it's curiosity, mastery, style, or progression, players need to feel like they're going somewhere. Even a small thing like narrative hints, escalating challenge, or atmospheric change can create meaning. If that's your issue, you should identify the emotional state you want the player to feel at the end of their session, and you should build towards that. Add mystery, clarity, and add a bunch of purpose. Games like Redfall, Babylon's Fall had large budgets, advanced tech, and had plenty of features, but they lacked feel, no feedback, poor pacing, no clear purpose, and that is what players noticed. On the flip side, Balatro, Celeste, and Vampire Survivors succeed with tiny teams because every action feels intentional and rewarding. They are clear, focused, satisfying on what matters most. And yes, some players also enjoy weird, janky, and broken games, and that's okay. But if most of your players aren't engaging, if they're bouncing off early, it's not just taste, it's design, and you can change a lot on that. And when your game feels off, it's rarely just one problem. It's a compound effect of unclear movement, weak feedback, bad pacing, or lack of emotional purposes. The good news: they're all fixable. You don't need a huge team, you just need to design with a bit more clarity, test a bit more, and polish with intention. You should start small, prioritize feel, and rebuild from there. What's a game you wanted to love but dropped off because it felt really off? Let me know in the comments and I'll break down some of them in a future video. If you want to see how I'm applying all this in my own project, go wishlist Trisha Drift on Steam. And now you should go and make your game feel good. With that, thank you for watching. I hope you subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.
going to make the most terrifying horror game ever made. Inspired by Lovecraft, Dead Space, Alien Isolation, and Outlast. But there is one problem. I don't really know how it all comes together. I don't know if I can make it scary, and I don't even know if it'll be fun. And I didn't want to make just another walking simulator, but I wasn't starting from scratch. And at the end, I'm going to show a new ability that the monster can do that breaks the entire mold of the game. Now, before I show you guys the new stuff, let's get caught up on what I do have. Over the past few months, I've created a super advanced AI monster. It predicts the player's movement, listens to your microphone, and it crawls on the walls and ceiling. I also, through trial and error, created a super creepy environment inspired by Lovecraft, as well as weirdly Tomb Raider, the earlier ones. Games I grew up with as a kid, but with a twist, but more on that later. And with an amazing environment and a super advanced AI, I had two great cornerstones of the game already looking up. In fact, we are well on our way to making the most terrifying horror game. The issue is, to go from here, there are no set paths, no guide to follow. I would need to rely on inspiration and intuition. I will admit that this itself is terrifying. It's like someone telling you to find the pirate's treasure without telling you where to start. However, I also find it very exciting, and I begin absorbing ideas from absolutely everything. Most importantly, I'm gonna tell you about something that almost goes without saying, but is such a pivotal part of what creates a terrifying horror experience. And as we slowly make the game scarier, we will gain experience points like these. These will move our terror bar, and as the terror bar grows, we might meet our goal. Of course, that's not guaranteed. It might not even be possible. Oh guys, I forgot to mention, I hid 10 keys to Dead Exhale in this video, and you can unlock it on Steam when it comes out if you find one like this one. Not only that, but I hid 3 of those keys in the next minute. So stay tuned. 3 hours. That's how long I spent chasing a single error in Unity. And when I finally found the issue, a typo buried inside a scene interaction script. And that's when I met Bezzy, a hyper-intelligent advanced AI. And you guys know I love that. And this thing works straight inside my project. Bezzy isn't just another code assistant. It's a development partner that understands your project. It understands your assets, scripts, and even that one scene that doesn't work and no one really knows why. Bezzy automatically understands everything from your project files to Unity documents, and even anything from the web. It gives answers, writes code, debugs, and all of these are tailored to your unique setup. It's not just some generic post you found on Google, and no more needing to teach ChatGPT the context of your project in every conversation. There's a new feature called Agent Mode, and it's in beta. Bezzy doesn't just suggest fixes, it gives you differences, and it applies them automatically in your project with your approval. It also tracks every change you make, so you can roll back at any time. From weird bugs to performance bottlenecks, Bezzy has your back, all while keeping your data 100% private. Your code, your project, just a smarter and faster way to build it. Try Bezzy at the link below. Get started on your dream game. Why are you waiting? Let's get back to it. With all that being said, I wanted to share a movie I just saw, one that reinforced and inspired me. 28 years later. Don't worry, no spoilers. Before watching this, I will say, I was imagining just another zombie horror flick, but this one was so unique. From its cinematography to our secret ingredient, sound. It seems so simple, but it plays such a huge role in the game I'm building and in media in general. If it's done right, you don't even know that it's happening. It just adds to the experience. From the absence of sound to strategically build up again, to setting the tone for our stone hallways and mutated flesh walls. It was then that I began to devise what exactly about sound in a horror game made it so cool. I began to think, what is the faintest background noise for this old temple? Dripping ceilings from the moisture built up, wind pulling through holes in the stone from the surface world. This was the very first layer I dropped in, and the first layer in our cake of spiders. We were making progress immediately toward creating the most advanced and terrifying horror game, but we had far to go. However, we did gain some XP towards our goal. Next, we add a faint ambient music track, and this track actually goes for about 20 minutes, and it combines 4 different musicians, including myself, Miri, Soundscabs, and our newest addition, Astrid. They all volunteered to be a part of this project, and they also did music for Mother Hub, my previous game. It is important to remember throughout this process, too much sound is overwhelming and it loses its effect. You can't pick out the pieces and it becomes one big wash. Together with our previous ambience, this is starting to feel really good. Another layer of our cake is done, and we gain some XP towards our goal on the terror bar. When this bar finishes, we will have created the most terrifying horror game. But all of these sounds were in 2 dimensions, meaning no matter where you are in the game, the sounds sounded the same. And this leads to a very dull experience. And we would need to accompany these with some 3D sounds. These sounds were created by the environment itself. Wait, before I show you something insanely creepy, I want to talk about a different system I devised. From the beginning, I wanted to create something that wasn't necessarily a replayable experience, but a different experience for every player. They might encounter our spider monster in a different place, take different routes, and spec their character in different ways. Because of this, I wanted to create unique, unscripted jump scares. I ponder, how do you create these unique moments? I decided they would be built right around the monster itself, as it was a factor I couldn't predict. And the idea came to me. This would also reinforce the terrifying aspect of seeing the monster for the first time, or having it only appear for a moment. The game would create its own jump scares. All I had to do was create the system. There would be 2 types of moments created like this. A distant moment where you would see the monster at the end of a hallway, and a slight sound would play, just enough to give you the chills. The other moment, up close, where the monster would appear within a distance of 10 feet, and a more impactful sound would chime in. Of course, all of this would happen randomly, depending on where and when the player encountered the monster. This uncertainty means when you watch your favorite streamer play and then you go to play because you wishlisted it just now at the link below, or maybe you got one of the free keys I hid in this video, like this one, then you'll have your own unique experience instead of just a barrage of cheap jump scares. Although this wasn't too difficult to add, I think we've gained some XP on our terror bar, and it pushes us one step closer towards our goal of creating the most terrifying horror game. Well, here's the problem so far. Although this was a dynamic sound, it still was a 2D sound. And I still haven't solved the problem of adding 3D sounds from the environment itself. I wanted audio cueing from all around you, and again, I wanted it to be unique to each player. This is how I thought of my next system, and I'm actually pretty proud of how this turned out. But first, here's the issue with scripted sounds. Player 1 walks by a pipe. A sharp burst of steam is released. Player 2 walks by the same pipe. The same thing happens. The same experience. Or perhaps you hear a woman scream through a wall. Both players hear the same thing. There's nothing wrong with this. The player will still be on edge, but there's something exciting about knowing you are experiencing something different than the previous player. So here's how my system works. As the player moves between a minimum and a maximum distance, it spawns a sound within a random position and rotation from the player. I then created a bunch of creepy audio with my mouth, and also just unsettling things. Finally, we have 3D sound in our horror game, and that makes it more terrifying than ever, and we gain some XP on our terror bar. But is it enough? No, far from it. I want to finally review one of the key aspects that sets the player on edge, and it is directly connected to the environment. It is the environment. Tentacles. And you see, the level has a lot of these unmoving tentacles, and it feels really cool, but I just knew you guys would say the tentacles need to move. And though I was addressing a problem you guys hadn't even pointed out yet, I knew it was the right idea. Here's the issue. There are basically no tentacles on the Unity asset store. Are people not making hint games? I would have to figure out a solution. That's when I stumbled on this guy. As soon as I saw him, I thought, I know just how to sever those arms off. Once I did that, I turned on the old procedural animation, and I got these guys flapping. After some fine-tuning, you could ride these puppies for miles. This was one large step towards our goal, and a nice bit of XP on our terror bar, and a beautiful new layer on our cake of spiders. But what about the sounds the player could make? Well, technically we already have that because your mic is always turned on if you want it to be. The monster can hear you speak and it can track you down. But what if the player could use sound to distract the monster? This is the oldest trick in the book, but the player can find these stones around the map. At first, the player could throw these stones like a machine gun, or use them like building blocks. But eventually I worked out the kinks, and and you could throw these stones to distract the monster, buying you just enough time to live. I don't know if this makes the game scarier, but having more actions makes it feel more realistic, more immersive, which I think does add to the terror factor and XP on our terror bar. Now, speaking of immersion, and going back to our idea of creating a somewhat unique experience for each player, I wanted the player themselves to have some control over their own power and progression. I admit I was heavily influenced by Choo Choo Charles on this. Even though the upgrade system is simple and basic, it gives the players something to work towards, which appeals to our primal essence. So you can find these little crystals around the game by breaking pots. You can use these at your base station to upgrade your run speed, crouch speed, and your stealth ability. And although all of these make you technically less likely to die, it also increases how much you want to live, which makes every moment more stressful. And I think we've gained some XP on our terror bar because of it. Now we're even closer to our goal of the most terrifying horror game. Now take a deep breath with me. Because now we're gonna get into the really good stuff. And it better be, because we still have a lot of progress to make and not a lot of time to get there. The next idea changed how I thought about our monster, Cassiel. And if we look at the history of him, he's got a lot of upgrades. From a state-based animator to a procedural animation system. From walking only on the ground to walking on the ceiling and the walls. And it was in that moment I realized I had been going about this animating thing all wrong. Now that the monster could walk anywhere, the animations needed to reflect that. It needed to feel dynamic. I would begin with 6 animations. 3 were for moving on the ground, ceiling, and the walls. And 3 were for being still. He would transition between these as he would move around. By adopting this, Cassiel instantly felt alive. No longer did it feel like a video game monster playing his required state animations, but flowing, feeling creature. You can see the difference before and after. I must admit, sometimes something incredible happens and a small change makes a big difference. This is one of those things that only took me about 3 hours, but it changes the whole feel of the game, and I think that deserves a big boost on our XP bar. And now that's a little closer to our goal, but we still have to make a huge leap to complete it. Well guys, I think it's time we talked about the last thing. It ties everything together. It's the answer to a problem you guys brought up in the very first video I did. First, let's look at the issue. Cassiel just stays in your view too much. And a monster that's always visible, that's just simply around constantly, it loses its juice. It loses that unknown fear factor that we feel before we see the monster. Unfortunately, that takes our bar back just a bit. That hurts. But in the depths of pain of losing that progress, I arose out of the ashes like a phoenix. And I had an idea. What if the monster could turn invisible? Not completely, but like looking through glass. But how the F do I even do that? I guess the right word isn't invisible, but translucent. And then all I had to do was find a material that looked like glass and swap it between that and the normal monster skin. Seems simple, right? Well, again, the Unity store failed me. It just had a profound lack of glass-looking URP materials. And just for you guys that don't know, URP is the specific version of Unity that I'm using. The first one I bought was a complete failure. Everything was pink. Oh well, it's just $20, right? The price of an entire meal. Nevertheless, I persisted and I bought yet another glass shader. This one worked right away, as it should, and I couldn't be more excited about all the options I had. For one thing, I could change how light refracted as it shined through. The closest example I have to this is if you shine a flashlight through a drinking glass. Now observe that the glass itself slightly bends the light, and because of that, and because the glass isn't crystal clear, you can see the shape of the glass still. But how would I blend the skin and the glass shaders together? The truth is I couldn't. They were so different they wouldn't interact with each other. So I came up with a solution. After all, what creates the monster's ability to turn invisible? A chemical reaction in the chemistry of the creature's skin itself, causing it to temporarily turn translucent. This burst of energy releases a puff of plasma, which also hides the transformation of the creature. This all just came together so beautifully. The really scary thing is, I programmed Cassiel to decide when to use it. and for how long. This makes it so even to me, the guy who made it, I have no idea when it's happening. This creates situations where you'll see him for just a moment, only then to see a plasma cloud, knowing he's stealth. Seeing a faint hint of him encircling you, losing track of him then, and then sprinting in a random direction out of panic. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. This might be true terror, but is it enough XP? Oh, it looks like we met our goal. That is incredible. This means we've made the most terrifying horror game ever. But is there more we can do? You guys let me know your ideas in the comments below, no matter what it is, and I'll read it. Also, if you want to be involved in the first public playtest of Dead Exhale, make sure you wishlisted it on the link below. And if you want to test the game immediately, like right now, check out my Patreon, also in the link below. And I want to thank my current top tier Patreon subscribers, supporting my dream of doing this full time. This has been Stylized Studios, bye!
This was the cleanup team. They didn't get very far. What could have done this to them?
The containment database is toast. It's been tampered with.
It figures. We'll have to hunt down answers the hard way.
Do we even have clearance for this?
Close call, but it was worth it.
This will come in handy.
It knows our weaknesses. We need to act fast. Contact! We thought we had it all figured out. We were prepared for anything. But this place rewrites the rules.
There's a spectre haunting the fiefdom of London Stock. He's waiting for you to feast on each other before it blooms in a dazzling explosion. This is your last day, Weald, and I am sorry for that.
Did you forget what happened on that night in this city? Oh, but this place remembers. And so do I. I'll be waiting in the place where hope turned to ash. So come and find me.
Report. What have our scouts found?
Devastation. Tomb structures are active across the planet. The Necron Lords are weakened their legions for war. Undying warriors and technological horrors are decimating the Imperials. But their machine cult's resistance is fierce. Their tech priests are reinforcing the front lines with everything they have. Human and machine alike. It's a bitter fight to maintain their production capabilities. And make the Necrons pay for every inch of ground taken. That ground, though, is now within the Imperial cities. It'll be no easy thing, securing our target amidst this destruction.
Luck has, need keeps, toil earns. Is the Oath Band ready to deploy?
Our hearts burn, Lord Greenyear. Where do we strike?
Wherever the wisdom of the Votan decides. The ancestors are watching.
Travels. Of all the things I've seen, it's in Eric's home it will happen. This is where our world will change. And it all begins with her.
What's the hole?
Officer?
Where's your brother?
He's working.
He's not in any trouble. We just want to talk to him. Maybe you could help. You wouldn't mind coming down the station with us, would you?
All right, I'll get my bag.
Good. Hey! She's gone. Find her before she leaves the building.
I need to get out of here and find Herman before they do.
What'll they do? Rob the mayor? Murder someone? Both, maybe?
This should get the crates moving again.
Look for the main control, maybe.
Do I look like an engineer?
Is that you, Johnson?
Come after her! Now!
What do you want?
I need passage.
You told me you wanted out. You and your brother. You said you're done with this, it's too dangerous, not what you wanted.
That's actually why I'm here. I
respected your decision because I thought you respected me.
This isn't about me.
Oh, it's always about you, Hannah, and now you've brought the police here.
They're looking for Herman.
You want passage, huh? And that's it? I'm not keeping these for you anymore. You're taking with you this time.
Hey, Gilbert! What's keeping you? Gilbert? He's not here. Of course he is. I saw him go up there just a minute ago.
Ugh. The bridge is collapsed.
Captain Lander, what about him?
I heard him say he'd be watching the north exit.
It's all right. I'm sure he brought friends, though. But so did you.
She's brave, more than most I've ever met. But she doesn't know what she set in motion.
So, this is what money looks like.
I've just got to find him before they do.
I have no choice.
I'm all he's got, Alva.
I must find her
He's all I've got.
before he does.
What manner of calamity requires my attention? Let's see. Gods. Their relationship with you mortals has always been complicated. This, however, is new and rather inconvenient. Arrogant as they were, the gods served the cycle. They served the order. No more, it seems. I dread to think how many afterlives have been disrupted. Well, what a mess. We had best get to work.
People talk about the Clone Wars. They talk about the big moments, the crisis points, planetary invasions, all-out assaults, cities bombed to rubble. Truth is, there's a war you don't see. The one fought in the shadows. The war beneath the war. A war that's won with the right strategy. Surveillance, ciphers, good old-fashioned sabotage. These aren't the heroes they tell stories about. They're professionals. Setting aside their differences to take on the impossible. But that's the job, and they get it done.
You have seen much, Serim. You have journeyed far. But you know nothing.
This island is scattered with the ruins of those who thought they were eternal. Every day I worry we're one step closer to joining them.
Can you hear it? A voice beneath the wind. Calling me.
I know what you are, Saren. A prayer come too late.
Why are you here? To help? Or to prey on the weak like these vultures?
For too long, the plague has twisted our own bodies against us. Let us return the favor.
If the gate falls, so may Sakra. Go, Saren. You must bend death to your will.
Just a memory take for granted. Everything in between, it's the way that we live underneath. We took them at their word. And now look what it's worth. It's only you. No one's gonna come. It's only now.
Who do you think you are? I sent you there to solve a problem. Remember, you're a fire blanket, not a goddamn flamethrower. You don't belong there. You share nothing with those people. You're not part of something greater. You are something greater. You're one of us. So stop digging up the past and put all this to rest. Take off that stupid costume and be who you're meant to be. You don't understand the forces at play. We didn't build all this for you to piss it away. Go any deeper, and you may never see light again. And we won't be there to save you this time.
We as Mary are guided by the Spirit. It provides prey, shelter, even love. But for me, one day, all that were changed. The Spirit, it showed me something. Something forbidden. And to defend all I loved, I used it. I lost everything that day. But fate weren't finished with me yet. I'll right the wrongs I've done. I'll do what I must